Angaro, and then Ruben Frank.
Hey, Nick, good afternoon.
What's up, Dave?
What's up? I have a list of injured guys here. If you can give an update for some of them. Jake Elliott, Jordan Mailata, Darius Slay, Isaac Samalu, Avante Maddox.
We will let you know on Wednesday. All right, so we're still sorting through some things there as far as getting with the trainers, letting them get some rehab, and we'll give you more information on Wednesday.
Are any of them significant at this point?
We think that everybody has a chance to play this weekend. But I don't want to come out and say that quite yet, just in case some things happen. But we do believe everybody has a chance to play this weekend.
Rube and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Nick, I think you touched on this after the game, but for the guys like Driscoll and Josiah Scott, Zach McPherson, those guys don't know when they're going to be playing, if they're going to be playing, in some cases, where they're going to be playing. What goes into that mentally, just being ready, when your number is called? And how challenging is that especially for a young guy to always be ready, not knowing if he's going to play or not?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a challenge that they got to come in every single day, understanding that they're one snap away from being a starter, right? And they know that we use a lot of different guys, whether you're contributing on special teams, that all 53 guys and the guys on practice squad as well are vital to winning football games. So they know they got to prep just like the starter does, knowing that they're one play away. And I just have a lot of – I can't give enough credit to – the guys that you just mentioned, as far Zach and Andre and excuse me, and Jack and Sua, all those guys that had, and Josiah, that came in and filled a role and being ready to play. So that's just a tribute to them, that when they do get reps, they make the most of it. A credit to their coaches for preparing them to play as well. And it's unfortunately it's a long year in the sense of guys get injured and you're gonna have to have depth. And so we're doing our best to coach everybody hard and get them ready to go. And I know we got the right guys on this team that if they're not a starter, they know their role, right? And they know their role and they're contributing on special teams, and they know they're one play away from going in. And those guys did a nice job on yesterday during the game.
Tim and then Chris Franklin.
Hey, Nick, on the contingency plan front, are you guys going to bring in a kicker just in case Elliott can't go this week? And then with Andre Dillard, what's your understanding for how close he is to a return?
Obviously we will not ever leave a stone unturned, and we'll be ready in the case that Jake isn't able to play. Again, like I said, we're hopeful that he will, but we'll be ready if he doesn't. So you can take that how you need to take that. So we will be ready though. And then as far as Andre, again, don't have to do anything quite yet. Still working through some things. We'll get you guys more injury reports on Wednesday. But he's really attacking his rehab, and I don't, how I am. I don't like to put a timetable on anything, but he's doing a great job. Trainers are doing a great job of working with him. He's doing a great job of working like crazy to get back, and he's attacking his rehab with everything he's got.
Thank you.
Chris, and then Jeff McLean.
Afternoon, Nick. You guys usually convert third downs at about a clip of like 40% a game, but yesterday it's around 26, 27. But conversely, you guys had a lot of success on fourth downs. What were the Jags doing to stop you guys on third down, and what gave you the confidence to go for on a fourth down as much as you did?
As far as first of all, I think that defense is really well coached, and I think they got some really good players on that defense. So when they're stopping us, as we all know, they get paid too, and that's a top-notch defense that showed through 3 weeks that they were a top-notch defense. Obviously, we'll never use weather as a reason or anything like that, because I think our guys did a really good job playing in the elements. But that it is going to affect. Were we as high of a passing team as that we were in the past or in the last 3 weeks? No, I mean the elements are going to change and dictate different things. And some other things times, Chris, too, is in a situation you're going for it, and you don't and you say, hey, it's 3rd and 6, let's get a couple yards here and try to bust one out here, and then let's see what happens after that. Knowing that you're comfortable making that call. And as far as the very first thing of why we go for it on 4th down, or why I went for it on 4th down yesterday, is I trust our guys. And who do you trust, right? I trust Jalen to make the right decisions with the football. I trust Jalen if it's a pass. I trust Jalen that if it's a run, that he creates an extra gap for the defense. And I trust the heck out of our offensive line, and I trust our guys on the perimeter to make a play with the football in their hands. I trust our defense, if we don't get it, that they're going to get a stop. So that's a big part of it. And I think the first guy, you heard the first guy I mentioned, right? I trust Jalen. I trust Jalen, right? Because that he's going to be touching the ball every single time. And so, but as far as we do a lot of work that goes into it, the 4 down things that we're doing, what we're going to do on 3rd down, what we would do on 4th down. And so, we a lot of, myself, Kevin Patullo, Shane, Brian Johnson, and that's the guys that we're sitting in there a lot talking about 3rd and 4th downs. Jason Michael's in there as well, and Aaron Moorhead. But we're sitting there and we're talking a lot about that. And so when you spend a lot of time talking a lot about it, and you got a plan, you understand what the mode is, you have conviction, right? And so that always starts with the trust in the players. And then it goes down to our preparation of how we do that. And so you're convicted that I think sometimes what you see is that there's a lack of, I don't want to say a lack of conviction, but it's like, hey, what are we going to do in this moment? I think we've already talked about a lot of those things of what we're going to do in that moment. And so, I learned a lot of that from Frank. He was great at planning that. And, and so, again, everything that I feel like that I'm doing is I got it from somebody else. All right, a good coach that I've been around in the past.
Jeff McClain and then Zach Berman. We'll go to Zach Berman.
No,
ready,
he was
I'm
just
ready.
muted. He was muted.
Go ahead, Jeff.
We watched the 2 Jalen Hurts runs on 3rd and 16, or 3rd and goal at 16 and the 4th down. What did the coach think of that? What did the coach think of those runs? And then what did the offensive schemer think of those runs?
Say that. What did I think about it, and what did myself and Shane think about it?
Well, no. What did you think of it as, just like in terms of a head coach, and what do you think of it though as an offensive mastermind?
I know that there's. Again, you don't want Jalen taking big hits at any time, right? It's a long season and you want him to be healthy, but he does understand how to take care of himself in those scenarios. Now he got popped pretty good on that on the touchdown one. But I do believe that, again, it goes into trust with Jalen. I know he knows, how to take care of himself. And not take, there's part of it is taking care of yourself, but another part of it is he knows how to he can get wiggly and not take the hits that other guys are going to take. And so, don't ever want him to get hit, to be quite honest with you. But, obviously we were high-fiving and going nuts that, we were in a big hole there, and Jalen dug us out of it.
Zach and then Martin Frank.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. If I can bring you back about 4 plays before that, the penalty, what did you think of the call on Dallas, and what's the learning point or the teaching point from that play?
Yeah, that's a good question, Zach. I think if I get too much into that, I'm giving a little bit too much away, and I would love to give you guys I try. You guys know I try to give you guys as much as I possibly can without giving it a competitive advantage, and I want to give the fans everything that I can without getting a competitive advantage. So, what I would say there is I'll never question this too. I mean, you guys have heard how I talk about. I know sometimes you guys disagree when you ask me about a refereeing decision. I say, they got what am I going to say? You guys know what I'm going to say. They got a hard job and they got it right. All right. And so I'll always say that. And it was that I thought, hey, I thought they made the right call there. I actually really did there. I thought they made the right call. As far as the coaching point, on that play. I take full responsibility for that play right there. There was a slight timing issue on it, and again, I'm gonna take responsibility for that. We'll coach it up and get it the way we need to. But with what happened on that particular play, again, I don't want to give too much information away. I just think I need to do a better job of coaching that first and foremost, and we'll get better at that play because of that.
If I can ask a quick follow-up to that,
Sure.
on that ruling, Dallas can't engage until the ball leaves the hands or the ball crosses the line of scrimmage? Which one?
When the ball leaves the hands.
Okay.
Now, college rule, Zach, I think something with the college rule is it's about the line of scrimmage. I think. And the only reason I know that is because I get some information from my brother and plays that he runs, and we diagram plays back and forth with each other. But it's when it leaves the hands.
Thanks.
Martin and then Josh Tolentino.
Hey, Nick. I was actually curious. I mean, obviously, you guys have quite a bit of depth on the offensive line, but when Isaac went out, I was wondering just how, the decision there to put in Sua as opposed to like Cam Jurgens, and how close Cam Jurgens might be to being able to play.
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know,
Good question.
soon.
Yeah. Good question, Martin. With Cam's spending a ton of his time learning with Jason and with Stout as far as the center position, and that doesn't mean that he's not getting some cross training at guard. He definitely is. Sua's played a lot of good football for us at guard. Sua started in a playoff game at guard for us. Sua's been on that wall in the indoor as far as being parts of players of the game. So we got a lot of faith in both of them. And just right now at this particular time, Sua's the next man up at the guard position. And sometimes, you do that because of the amount of reps, the amount of time that the guys are getting at the certain spots. And that's just what we feel best about it at this particular time.
Josh and then Les Bowen.
Hey Nick, good afternoon.
Hey, Josh.
Given the opponent this week, I was just wondering if you had any favorite memories with Zach Ertz, and when you think about his time here, specifically since you got here, how he put Dallas Goedert in a good position to lead the room upon you guys trading him.
Yeah, I think the play that Zach made, I know I wasn't here for it, but I definitely have seen the Super Bowl play on the slant, and was it fourth down or was it third down? I don't know, but I always think so highly of that play, of what he did in a one-on-one coverage against the Patriots, on that slant that falls through him. But I always thought Zach, Zach's a really classy guy. He works his butt off, and so my memories of Zach. Right, my memories mostly of Zach is the hard work he put in every single day to be at his best. I thought that you saw that every day at practice. You saw that every day at a game, that he worked his butt off to maximize his potential, and and obviously he's still playing at a very high level. And when guys work like that, that's contagious, and other guys see it, and obviously. Dallas was able to see that. Again, I was only with the two of them for about five months, but I know that Dallas obviously saw the great playmaking ability that Zach has made in the past, and how how Zach's an all-time Eagle, and I think Dallas saw the way he you guys can ask Dallas, but I think naturally I saw it the way Zach worked, and Zach worked his butt off, and I'm sure he still works his butt off, and that's why he's still playing at a high level. A lot of respect for Zach Ertz.
Les and then John McMullen.
Hi, Nick. There were probably a lot of moments yesterday that you could look at as kind of pivotal moments, but one that really stuck with me was James Bradbury leaping to make that interception down near the goal line. You were only up 6 points at the time. How relieved were you to see him do that? And it strikes me that he's been such an incredible addition to come along so late. It wasn't, it wasn't part of your free agent plan back during the winter. He just kind of kind of fell in your lap, really, and it seems to have been a pretty important addition.
Yeah, James is a very important addition, and I try to make sure I tell him once or twice a month or once every other week how happy I am that he's here, and I know I definitely said that to him yesterday when I think in the locker room afterwards, and that was an unbelievable catch and an unbelievable play by him that he made that play on that. There was a lot that went into that play, and just kind of talking through it with the defense and watching it on tape of it was a big time play, and then on top of that, the intelligence of the play that he made, the sheer athleticism that he made on that play as well. Like that ball, that yesterday's game was some of the toughest conditions that I've been a part of in the NFL. I can only think of one, maybe one game that was comparable to how nasty it was in there, and it wasn't particularly cold, but that wind was blowing, the rain was going, and he made a type of catch you would expect a wideout to make, right? He dove for the ball, and he dove for a ball, and then he did a really good job of getting to his back, right? And so that's something that you teach the receivers, that you catch it, right? And then don't let the ball hit the ground, right? Don't let yourself hit the ground there. Get to your back and protect the ball. It happened in a game yesterday, and I know exactly what game it happened in. You guys can figure it out yourself, but it happened to a receiver in the game yesterday where he caught a ball, and he hit the ground, and the ball popped out, and they took away a big catch from him. And I just thought that was unbelievable by James to get to his back and play with that type of technique and fundamental. And like I said, the football IQ of it was outstanding, and so happy that he's here, and so happy that he's an Eagle, and it's pretty cool, like how we added him late in the, sometimes it's not, it's like we say, like I think early on in free agency, it was like they only got Hassan Reddick. What's going on, right? I think that was the sentiment, like, hey, if we would only get the way Hassan's been playing, if we would only got Hassan Reddick, that would have been pretty good too, but. Things, you got to let things progress, and Howie did a great job of that, of just letting things progress and look at some of the pieces we got, from going there. I'll try to, if that happens next year, I'll try to remind everybody about that. So.
Hey, real quick, if I understood his explanation correctly, he came off of his man, saw the guy running the wheel route underneath, and correctly figured out that's where the ball was going. Was that your understanding?
Yeah. Exactly. So, sometimes just, a lot of times players just make unbelievable plays, and it's a player's game, and they make unbelievable plays, and that was an unbelievable play. I mean, really, he's had some big ones for us this year so far.
Thank you.
Thanks, Les.
We have time for one more, so we'll end it here with John McMullen.
Hi, Nick.
John?
Kind of going back to your fourth down answer, you trust Jalen. Curious how much that's evolved. Yeah, 3 times. Sorry. How much has that evolved this year? Like, if we were going back to last year, would you be the same guy? Obviously, he's playing at such a high level, so I'm curious, how much more do you trust Jalen right now?
Sure, I think the trust grows as your relationship grows, as your reps with each other grow. I mean, and I think that's like any relationship, right? Your trust grows based off of past experiences, right? And like I think I said this to somebody earlier today, like it's not just a blind trust, it's not a blind faith. It's reps built up, and it's built up trust, and so. Obviously, right. And when I say it like that, it's built up over the year. It's built up over the past year because he just continues to put himself, make the plays necessary when they need to be made. And so, does that mean we're going to be 100% in those scenarios? No, we weren't. We were 60% yesterday, right? And so you're not, but we still have that trust in them. And of course, that is built, through practice, that's built, through the reps you have at practice, that's built through the reps you've had together in games, and that's built through the conversations that you have throughout the week and throughout the months and throughout the years that you have together.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Yep.